Oh, we're live. Sorry. Hello. Yes, good greetings and good afternoon, everybody. And happy 420. This is finally 420. And finally, the day that we are going to be starting, we're hoping to launch the sales of tickets to the ganjactors.com Caribbean Cannabis Summit and Trade Show, Exchange and Trade Show. Unfortunately, because of Uncle Sam, we do have some issues. That is with the payment system. Well, actually, the two technical issues that we encumbered from last night. Hold on just a moment. We have Duchess with us. Why is this up? Okay. Hello. Okay. Sorry about that. That was a little glitch on my part there. All right. Okay. And Nicole's in the house. All right. Great. All right. This is all coming together. Hello, Duchess. I love that headpiece thing. Very cool.
Hi.
Hello, and Nicole. Hey, hello. Hold on. Let me.
Hey, Nicole.
Right
Hey, oh, how are you doing? Yes,
okay, great.
happy
All right, right on.
420.
You guys all know each other, right?
Happy
It's okay.
420, baby.
Yes. We met in New Orleans.
Okay, right on.
Yeah.
Oh, my lighting is
Afro
really bad.
Canada Bud Sisters.
Right, yes.
Okay.
And I'm also Faded Living. That's who I am.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right. Eagle has an Faded Living and the Dank Duchess. Do you what is your brand? You just the Dank Duchess. That's the brand that you go under. Do you have? Are you? Yeah. Okay. Just wanted to clarify that. Well, anyways, thank you guys very, very much for joining us. I'm looking. Let me see if I can turn this a little bit. Unfortunately, we had a few issues today. We're still having some technical issues. I don't know, something happened with the website. We're trying to set it up to be able to process people's purchases and so on. And but the formatting on the website is a bit of a mess. And then we went to Eventbrite. Of course, Uncle Sam stepped in, and they just literally maybe a few not too long ago just told me that you are basically they do not Eventbrite does not no longer supports cannabis events, even CBD and so on and so forth because of the federal illegalization in the United States, despite the fact that we are not in the United States. So that just puts a little slows us down a little bit. But
Okay,
thank you very, very much for joining. Sorry, go ahead.
Why don't you go with Event High
Event
or
High.
Event High?
Event
High is almost exclusively cannabis events.
Oh, that is true. You see,
Yes.
all right. You see, I was trying to get it onto the website. It's been quite a bit of a rigmarole. Let me tell you that because it's only recently that we decided to bring it down from being a hybrid event to being an only exclusively in-person event. And we finally secured all the locations for that. So all of that will be set up. I thought that we could have done it properly through the website, which would have been my preferred thing, so that we could avoid these issues. Because I know that people have constantly been, ran into problems. I've had issues with PayPal. I've had issues with Stripe, and all those good boys. And yeah, it has occurred again. But anyways, that will be fixed. I will set up an event. That is a good idea. I have not used them before, but I will.
They're really straightforward, like really straightforward. I use them for my hash classes when I throw them.
Okay.
I use Event High.
Right. Okay. Right. And I know of them. It's kind of, anyways. Yeah. Been just kind of caught up in quite a bit of stuff, but things are coming together impeccably well. We have some great guests that are going to be coming down for the summer, including you two. So while we do, we are broadcasting, and people will clearly understand what some of the issues we're having, some technical issues. I do not know what happened to the website. I went through this whole thing to get the whole process, the merchant account and all this kind of good stuff. And then just today, I'm like, all right, let's go. And it's like, why does the whole order page just looks like a mess? I'm like, okay, that's great. Change themes. No, the same thing. I'm like, all right, okay. So I guess it's just, that's how it is. And then we're supposed to be out somewhere, supposed to the Canada retreat. But the rain kind of prevented that. As you could probably even see, it's actually kind of easing up. So I'm looking like I might be lying a little bit, but it was pretty heavy a little while ago. But anyways, let's get started, please. I've got you guys, I've got Dak Duchess on top, I've got Nico Hines on the bottom of Faded Living. So let's do a quick introduction and let people know what you guys are doing. Everyone, this is the Dank Duchess and Nico Hines from Faded Living. They're going to be workshop hosts for the event that's coming up in the summer, and some of the best top of the line people to be working with in the business. I will let them take it from here and introduce themselves and let you know what they're going to be bringing to Jamaica. Please, Duchess, you want to start us out?
Sure. Hi, I am super excited to be here. I'm super excited to be having this conversation. I was super excited when I saw Nicole's face on the website today. For real, I was like, oh, let me find out she bring her culinary experience down there. So I am the Dank Duchess. I'm a hash maker, hash consultant, and cannabis cultivator, and all around advocate for cannabis, hashish,
Absolutely.
and psychedelics, right? I am here based in Oakland, California, and I have been making hash going on 8 years. My big thing is education, so I'm especially excited about having a class in Jamaica. Jamaica is such a foundational part of the Caribbean cannabis experience. So being able to go back to Jamaica, where my grandfather is from Jamaica, I'm Penny, and my grandfather's from Jamaica, it'll be an amazing, amazing experience. So the hash workshop that I'm looking to bring is going to bring both bubble hash and dry sift techniques to Jamaica. You know, we know already you can get some amazing gum in Jamaica. Let's add a couple more offerings to the solventless palette. And I'm especially, excited to meet everybody else.
Right on, thank you. I'm going to ask you to, actually, Nicole, go ahead. I'll come back to you, please. Go ahead, introduce yourself, Nicole, please. Oh, Nicole disappeared. I don't know where she went. Like, okay. I see her hat is on something. There she is. Okay. Something. Okay. That's cool. It's all good. Yeah, Nicole, why don't you go ahead? I have a couple of questions for Duchess, but yeah, please, Nicole, introduce yourself. Let us know what you're going to do. So we got hash, and we got something even more extraordinary or equally extraordinary that pairs well with hash. Nicole, please tell us what you will be doing during the conference for your workshop.
Absolutely. Hi, everyone. I was just having a little trouble with my mute, but here I am. I'm Nicole Hines, and I am the founder of Faded Living. I'm also a cannabis chef and educator, and I cook with cannabis with Jamaican influences because my parents are Jamaican. I'm Canadian born. I'm in Vancouver, BC, but I take influence from my parents, and I infuse that twice, right? So I create dishes that are Jamaican fusion, also infused with cannabis. I will be teaching you how to make your own cannabis infused oil. I like to work with coconut oil, so that's going to be one of the oils that I'll start with, but I'll talk about other oils as well and some of the benefits of like infusing avocado oil or olive oil, etc. And then I'll also teach you how to infuse honey, because I think that that's really important to normalize the use of cannabis, especially with the older generation. I find that the older generation tends to sorry, I'm getting a call coming through and I'm like, stop.
Yeah, it blocked you there. All right, well,
she's gonna come back. She's gonna come back.
Yeah, she'll come back. It's
especially since I want to know if she's gonna teach people how to make infused gazada. Now I'll be jumping that class right now.
Okay, really?
You know what I'm saying? If she's already
that would be interesting.
dealing with the coconut, if she's already dealing with the coconut oil, then some gazada. Nicole,
that's a nice way to get to the whole Caribbean, because everyone in the Caribbean loves gazadas. That's for real.
I've been thinking about it. Shoot, some gazada would be great.
Nicole, did you hear the question? There's
no, I didn't, because a call came through. Right. A call came through and then everything got messed up. So I didn't hear the question.
I was saying, are you going to teach us how to make infused gazada?
Ooh.
I'm telling you, girl. I made it myself before, but you know what I'm saying? Go for it. You're the one who's cooking. Make some infused gazada.
I think you just sparked a new product idea there.
Okay. Infused gazada. Okay, now I'm going to put that on my list of things to do. And the beauty of what I like to do is I create easy recipes because I want it to be simple for people to incorporate that into their lives. Like that, I really just want it to be simple. And the fact that it's going to be in Jamaica, the recipes are going to be relative to the people. You know what I'm saying? So
excellent.
I am so thrilled. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. And also, I will be doing some beverages. Let's not forget about the smoothies and things of that nature.
I was going to get into that for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, looking forward to that for sure.
Absolutely. I'm going to be talking about all the things for sure. I've done an infused rum, by the way, with some sativa, and it is a good time. It is a great time.
Excellent. In fact, that's what I wanted to get to that with to speak to you a little bit about that. Well, let me get back to that. Let me ask her a question. I'll come back to you with a question as well. Then I'll split it up like that. Duchess, let me ask you just for people who are maybe not completely familiar. I'm sure some people are familiar with gum. Even that is, you're in the know if you know about gum kind of thing. Mm-hmm. It's not really that widely available. So what is the difference between the bubble hash, the dry sift hash, and the gum? What would the difference?
Okay, well, all of those are solventless concentrates, which means there's no chemicals being used to be able to get the trichomes, which is the resin, the sticky icky, to get the trichomes off the plant. With charas or gum, charas, the name used in India, it's the idea of rubbing the hands softly up and down the cannabis plants to get layers and layers of resin on one's hand and then collecting that. That is considered like the original concentrate. After that, dry sift, which is the idea of taking the plant and mechanically removing the trichome. So whether you're going to be beating it, harassing it, agitating it in some way to get the trichomes to fall off, and then you clean that up. And bubble hash is doing the same agitation process, but using ice and water, time, just moving. And then after that, we have to go through a process of drying the material, but then you have hash after that, or a whole bunch of resin. You can continue on and make hash rosin if you want with that. I happen to like to stay at this level right here and make some temple balls.
Okay, all right, cool. Let me add to that question. Let me ask, I'm just trying to understand, or would like you to explain. I think people are going to have a difficulty. I myself have a difficulty trying to grasp the concept of using water and ice with ganja, and I mean that it's like, and then you're gonna do something with it. What
I know that part is scary.
Why is that? Why is
the
that?
very first time I put weed in some water, I was just really like,
I wanted to cry.
Real?
Like, what am I
this
doing?
is it for real. This is the idea. The idea is, okay, for one, the trichomes are being held onto the plant via a stalk, and using ice and water just being a carrier, although water is the universal solvent, in this situation it's just a carrier, and ice keeping the water super cold, and which in turn keeps the material super cold, which allows that agitation and the centrifugal force to whip the resin off. I know that seems crazy, but think about washing clothes. Mind you use a washing machine. Okay, you're washing clothes and you're agitating, and then the stain lifter. Well, this is the trichome lifter. You know what I'm saying? And then what you're left with is a whole bunch of wet resin, which you can do an air drying process where it's dried over time in the air, or use fancy machines like the freeze dryer, and then it's done in 24 to 36 hours.
All right. Well, what's the optimal way to dry the resin?
I mean, you can ask different people. There's some people who, okay, look, on a commercial scale, for the most part, freeze drying, because some people will tell you, oh, I can taste the freeze dryer. That's negligible, not very likely with that. And you can standardize your process, because at the end of the day, what you don't want is wet resin, which will contribute to mold and making people sick. Cannabis is for our healing. Let's not introduce things into our lungs that are gonna make us sick. So
absolutely.
At the end of the day, I'll be real honest. These days, I'm all about trying to dry sift as much as possible, just because then I don't have to worry about if it's dry enough. It stayed dry in the first place.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie though, if I have the opportunity to rub some plants in a new school charas way, I'm not gonna say no.
All right, we'll have to hook that up. We'll definitely have to hook that up. We'll just a crossover workshop or something. It'll be good. That'll be great. All right, well, Nicole, let me come back to you real quick. You spoken of infusing. You're gonna show us how to make some oils, some infused oils, and beverages, and other, of course, a few other niceties. We will also, likely be inviting you to present a dinner, or to work with some people to present a dinner. That'll be great. We'll talk about that in a second. But tell me, I do know that, well, you even your company's name is Faded Living, and I do understand that you utilize cannabis as within your own lifestyle, in the mornings and so on and so forth. So it's not as though you're going to be kind of doped out, for the entire day. So what kind of, how do you utilize cannabis in a lifestyle sense, instead of just a medicinal or just a recreational sense?
For sure. So my actual preference of choice to consume cannabis is smoking it. So, but I love to cook, and I enjoy the effects of it, eating it, but that's not my first way. So when it comes to cooking, I actually cook with low THC. And the whole concept of my company is to normalize adult cannabis use, right? Make it so normal that it's no different than you seeing somebody drink a glass of wine or have a vitamin or whatever, right? Like it's just the
for sure.
same thing, right? So in order to, I feel, make it normalized, especially for people who have never consumed it before, is to start off low. And being in Canada, it is legal here. So when it comes to edibles and stuff, the limit is low. It's only 10 milligrams, right? And I've worked in a dispensary a couple times, once before legalization and once after. And when I worked in it after, you have people that will come in and will literally be very affected by 2.5 milligrams of THC because they've never had it in their system before. And now they're like 30 some odd years old or 40 some odd or older, right? So my whole thing is I kind of stay within the limits of, because there's really no framework yet around like infused dinner parties in Canada and that type of thing. But I stay within sort of the limits that they've put out for the edibles. And that way I can teach people the calculation so that they know how to create a low dosed THC oil, but then they've got the calculation so that they can increase it whenever they feel comfortable, because over time you're going to be able to reintroduce more THC, you know what I mean, as time progresses type of thing. So I'm kind of teaching people who either are consumers, but more like smokers, vapors, that type of thing. They don't eat it as much, or for people who don't consume it. Right. So with those two streams of people, I try to start off low, and mainly too, it's a nice layered effect because I like to smoke all the time. Like if I start the day off with like an infused tea that's like low in THC, then I have it with a joint. Then, you know what I mean? I have something else, around lunch, I'll have like a salad with an infused dressing. Like it's a nice layered effect by the end of the day. Trust.
Right. Okay. I got you.
I'm running a business, right? I'm still doing shit, right? But like, it's not too much. Is what.
Right. I want to ask you about the drinks real quick, because even where you're just saying the edibles, you do like it, but it's different type of effect. And then with the drinks, and you even said that you infuse a rum. To me, this is why I think it's interesting that people consistently equate cannabis use to, like, say, having a couple of drinks and this and that. But the effect is completely different. The feeling is completely different. The effect is completely different. I say maybe edibles might be somewhat similar-ish to alcohol at low amounts of alcohol. How do you work at it?
So this is another thing that I teach, or a philosophy that I teach, is that I set the intention of what I want the plant to do before I consume it in whatever way, right? If I'm consuming it by a topical, which is still a form of consumption because my back is hurting, then I'm intentionally wanting my back to feel better, and that's why I'm rubbing on, right? So I kind of like, even when I'm teaching people, yes, these are the steps to infuse your oil, these are the calculations, this is what it is in it. I'm also trying to remind people to set intentions for what they want, because the plant is so different. The plant can be a party, and the plant can be like a spiritual awakening kind of thing. It can also be a form of like creativity where you can create a masterpiece, write a book, create a song, you know what I mean? Like it can be so many different things, right? And it can be like a pain reliever. Like it's just a lot of different things. So it's the same thing when it's like somebody's having it in the form of like a liquid, like they're drinking it, or having it like eating it. I just am teaching people to the fact that they have control of how the plant is actually going to interact with them. And so if you're feeling anxious before you consume, that plant is going to most likely make you feel even more anxious.
Right. It'll kind of enhance it type of thing.
It just enhances it, right? So it's, and sadly, even in the legal market, there's no education to tell people that they're also in control of how the plant works with them, and to tell people that like you can direct the plant to do what you want it to do, right? Because sometimes it is because I want to have fun. I want to get lit.
Sure. 420, yeah, for sure. Right.
And sometimes it's because I need to write some copy, or I need to create something for whatever, right? Like sometimes it's so different things. So that's how I do it. And I know it's not like traditional, you know what I mean? The traditional way, but I really want to get people to realize that plant being with the plant is a relationship. the relationship,
Right.
and you have
Well,
control of it.
that actually that brings me. That's a great segue to Duchess, because we've spoken in the past about hash and how you prefer, consuming hash because of the effect, because of the way it makes you feel, and you as well will consume throughout the day but still be completely functional, fully productive. So how do you, what's your approach to your consumption and hash, and why hash, and what's the difference with hash to you, at least? Unmute, please. 1 second. Mute. Let me ask you.
I'm bad about that. I'm definitely not exclusive to hash because, this chillum was weed and hash. And as a cultivator, I'm always going to be smoking flower. I do love flower. However, hash and flower in tandem throughout the day is fantastic for me. Since I came here in California, being able to grow a lot of weed allowed me to experiment a lot. So one of the things that's big for me is like Nicole does smoothies. I've been doing smoothies for years because they're really good for my PMS. They're super good for my PMS as long as I stay with it. The THCA as opposed to THC, all the acidic groups still very much there. So the CBDA, we're dealing with CBGA, precursors to that, which usually gets you high. That is great for your body. And a lot of times people don't realize that having those forms of the cannabinoids are sometimes way more effective for what you need, and I find, so my smoothies are great for that. And when I started doing smoothies, I started working out, but I didn't realize any kind of correlation. And then I brought in smoking with working out. So I don't have low THC weed, so to speak. I might only take a couple puffs, work out quite a bit, quite hard, and go through the day. And every time I feel a lull, because I'm really in tune with what's going on with my body, especially with regard to the consumption of the cannabis, I can decide whether I want something that's going to keep me pretty focused and get my ADD in line, like real ADD that's really pretty uncontrollable, unless I take that intention of like, this is going to be a focused time for me, this is what I'm going to be, or I want to be wildly creative and start painting huge paintings, so I make that choice throughout the day, and cannabis and hashish help me for it. If I'm going to be focused on something, like really, really focused, I'm probably going to go with a more purely hash idea, because if I already have the idea, I'm going to focus on that particular idea. If I'm trying to bring about a transformation and really allow something to blossom, I want more cannabis in the situation, because I find that cannabis allows me to be a little more, a little vaguer, a little bit more open, as opposed to hash, like, this is what I'm doing. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
how much experimentation have you done to ascertain this? I mean, I would say even just once you start consuming cannabis, you do become more conscious of your body. Sorry, JC had just entered the room. Seriously, sorry, I just got engrossed in the conversation there. We got JC who joined us. He's an engineer, agricultural engineer. Am I correct?
Yes, sir. I'm not here to interrupt, though.
No, well, you can join the conversation. We'll get back to it in a second. I just want you to really quickly introduce yourself. We've been talking for a little bit. We did get started a little bit late. We've had some technical issues we're continuing to have some technical issues. But
how's everybody doing this fine 420? Everybody good?
We're doing
just right happy 420 to you as well.
All right, wonderful.
Please introduce yourself really quickly, and let's have you join the conversation.
Yeah, I'm JC. I'm a horticultural engineer. I work with greenhouse farms and just kind of guide farmers into the tech and tools that they can use and learn about to take their game to the next level.
Okay.
All right. Cool. All right. Cool. We're getting into interesting conversation about the different consumption methods and different types of consumption. And Duchess, she's going to be working, hosting some hash making workshops, and Nicole is going to be doing some infused and edibles and smoothies and all that kind of good delectable stuff. And I think Gazadas, you've been to Barbados. You know Gazadas, all right? Yeah, I did every request
y'all
was made for Infused Gazadas, so we see
make
what
sure
comes out
y'all
of that
give
as
me
well.
credit on that because I made my own
sorry.
Infused Gazadas, so make sure
Duchess
I
made
love
the
Gazadas.
request. Thank you very
Dang
much.
Duchess, 110%. You are getting all the credit. Okay?
I love good Gazadas. Good Gazadas. Good way to go.
Excellent. Well, great. Well, all right. Well, thank you very much for joining us as well, JC. JC is going to be a panelist in some of our panels because we have our two of our workshops. We have quite a few more coming on. JC going to be with a panel with us. As he says, he's a horticultural engineer, helping people to build out structures for this wonderful commercialization phase that we're entering within the cannabis industry. Let me try to bring. Well, tell us about your cannabis experience and your consumption processes and your lifestyle, I guess, as it concerns cannabis.
Sure. Well, cannabis has been a big part of my life, recreationally and then later medicinally. And I've kind of fallen into it in terms of horticulture because it's a big focus in an emerging market in a lot of places. So the culture, which has been prevalent across the world all over the place for a long time, is finally getting liberated, which means we get to apply some funding, some science to it, and everything like this. We get to bridge the gaps. People who are brave enough to work in the shadows and get the brunt of the drug war now get to team up with the people who are kind of fresh and have different skills to bring to the table. So we put these two
how
together.
is that actually? How is that transition? If I could ask you one, Nicole, can you turn your camera to the side? Is that it'll just change it? No, not move it. Just turn it over, like rotate it. There, no, the other way. What? That's sideways. Okay, that's interesting. All right,
She's on a phone. That's the best you're gonna get. It looks good. Okay,
all right, cool. Don't worry. I was just trying to. It sounds funky. You can leave it that way if you want. That's okay. But thank you though. All right, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Yeah, sorry.
It's not a problem. It's been very interesting to see the various ways cannabis can be grown across the world, depending on people's situation and budget and location and everything. It's just when you see all of that, you learn some things about what's appropriate to put where and how to get the most out of your money.
Right, that's right. I was asking a little bit about transitioning from, to say, more of a clandestine operation to something that's, tens of acres, hundreds of acres, a commercial operation. What do you see, like the new technology coming in to influence the traditional farming and traditional farming coming in to influence the technology? How do you see that what's happening within that realm, or what do you see?
Well, the legacy industry, they know their plants very well, and they know their environments very, very well, but they've been cut off from kind of the greater body of agriculture and science and technology in general. They've been in the underworld and doing a lot of trial and error. And so props for that foundation, and give them a lot of respect for all the risks they took to provide this public service and everything. But now we get to kind of accelerate the pace of progress because we have access to so much more than they did, in a sense, and you don't have to hide. You can get very systematic about it, and it doesn't have to be trial and error anymore. We're digging into a lot of information and translating it into impacts in cannabis to where you can get the most out of your space, your time, your labor, your water, your electricity, your fertilizer, everything like that. That's the name of the game.
Right on. And how you've been to a couple of Caribbean islands? I know you said you've been to Jamaica before, and I think you even live in Barbados. How do the climatic or the ecological conditions differ with respect to growing cannabis and so on?
You guys all probably know this. Even in the Caribbean, islands can be very, very different from one another.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
I have to admit, I was ignorant about that once upon a time before I went down.
Okay, that's why I'm asking.
Yeah, but now I've worked in Jamaica and Aruba and Barbados and Trinidad, with a few more on the list coming up, and it's night and day. It's completely night and day, which lend themselves to different types of plants and different models because of the microclimates and everything like that. Jamaica is a wonderful example because it's a kind of large island with a lot of different climates, elevations, and more and less wind on this side and that side.
Or water, rain on this side. Yeah, it's
different soils. So you see a bunch of interesting variations that have led to an evolution of plant varieties that are probably the most interesting in the world.
Well, we have our cannabis exchange coming, hopefully to try to introduce a few more new strains and get some stabilization of our traditional strains, our landrace strains that we hope kind of still exist, because there's still there's always someone say, oh no, this is the real thing. No, this is the real thing. There's always it's a lot of hearsay still going on there. I don't know which way to go on that.
It's never black and white, but you certainly can't extinguish it.
Absolutely not. And we've come a long way. And now we're celebrating 420. Let's and in fact, that's right. I wanted to. I'm glad that this just popped up. You see, sometimes technology actually doesn't work in your favor. I was getting a reminder of an event that's starting in 10 minutes, which is the Peter Tosh Foundation is celebrating Peter Tosh Day. I'm just going to get into 420. So this is something that's been going on for a few years. I do know that Nyambe McIntosh started it, declaring 420 as Peter Tosh Day. I do not comprehend the correlation to Peter Tosh. It's not the date of his birth nor demise, but it's a funky day. So I just wanted to let me ask you guys, what do you guys? What's 420 to you? And let's talk about what should it really mean. And should we maybe call it a Peter Tosh Day, or should we maybe just find Peter Tosh's birthday and have another Ganja Day? Let's. I've got you guys. I've got Dank Duchess, I've got JC and Nicole. So let's start with Dank Duchess and we'll come around. Okay, how's that?
Okay. Well, I 420 traditionally a time. When I lived in Florida, it was a time when I'd smoke a little bit more weed than some other times. Maybe be a little bit more outlandish with it, but still aware that, you go to jail. Now here in California, 420 generally means going to a lot of events, which last year, I was in New York for 420, which was, landmark because it had just legalized. Being able to smoke anywhere in the street, anywhere you can smoke cigarettes was great, and a party that was really respectable. This year, I'm actually pretty chill. I have several of these things to do. I'm smoking some good weed and my good hash, and I'm just chill talking to y'all, Right. I don't know. Something about this year is a little bit more muted for me. But generally it means good community activity, and I appreciate that. I know there's a whole commercialization around 420. At the same time, there's something really nice about being in tune with the spiritual wave of everyone celebrating this one day for this one reason.
I'm gonna jump in there because you said commercialization. I have to harken back to a conversation I had this morning with a friend of mine, Stephen Arthur George, who is gonna be he's gonna be with us as well at some point. He was in a conversation about 420 and just speaking of what it means, and a company was launching a CBD line. And they're doing a 420 specials, CBD edibles or whatever on 420. And he's like, that's actually kind of that doesn't make sense because that's not what 420 is about. So what's your take on the commercialization of it? And are some of these companies just not even doing it right? I mean, I don't know.
I feel like if you're a CBD company and you're like, I guess I don't have an issue with the idea of having a 420 special. Of any time to have a special, that seems great. 710. But at the same time, I do feel like there are a lot of companies that will be pussyfooting around the fact that cannabis is a plant in its entirety. And so we're really pushing the model of this is not going to get you high, as if high is going to be a bad thing. This is the better thing. This is CBD. Those same companies who often are full of chads and want to be sanitizing the idea of cannabis don't make money on 420. We don't even want y'all in the sesh. No one, you can't even touch the chill. Go away.
that's kind of the vibe, I think, at the end of the day. We do have to, just take it to our own. Sorry, JC, what about yourself? What is 420 to you?
I see what she's saying, though. It's normalized to the point where it's not sacrament anymore. But 420 for me is just kind of a reminder of how far we've come. Because this was a disaster of a century for that human right to consume whatever you desire. And so for all the people that have died waiting or spent way too long in jail or whose lives are still ruined and affected by this, we have come a long way. It's taken a lot of people, a lot of work. And so to just celebrate this with your tribe, it's outside of religion or culture or economics. It's a special holiday. I like it. So you just have a little extra fun and breathe.
Right, relax a little bit. Nicole, what about yourself?
It's very similar. With me being in Canada, we've been legalized federally since 2018. and our medical program has been legal since 2001. So in Canada, and I'm in Vancouver, which is like the California of Canada. So I'm in the vibes. In fact, I just drove 6 hours to another city in BC. I'm in Kelowna right now.
I was just about to say, I thought it was BC,
yeah,
right? Yeah, I can remember that. Yeah.
For the BC Craft Summit. So all the folks are up here right now, and we're about to have 3 days of fun and rooftop amazingness. And we're in this like resort right now off of a lake and all this beautifulness. So I'm celebrating, and I am celebrating the fact that I live in a country where it is legal from coast to coast. So I'm thrilled about that.
All right. You guys keep moving around now. Okay. If I was to go in my circle, I have to go back to Duchess. All right. No, that is great. This is 420. It is kind of picking up in Jamaica. It's not really that big a thing. It is kind of more American or North American. It is coming as more of a cannabis culture, kind of brews there beyond the more clandestine nature that it has been previously. And we're gonna have a great. I've seen gone. I was just say something to Nicole. Yeah, we have a great setting as well for the Gans activist cannabis. Goodness gracious, the gansactivist.com Caribbean Cannabis Summit and exchange and trade show that's coming up in a couple months, not too long from now. Yes, a great location, the Girl Escape MX3, which is next door. It's rained out now, so you won't get to see it. MX3 is going to be refurbished. It's going to be beautiful. 2 great conference rooms, ample accommodations for everybody. It is kind of on the cliffside, so you won't be walking out on the beach every day unless you opt to be on that side of the beach. But there will be beach accessible from the trade show location. So it'll be great. It will be great. I'm trying to think if I could throw anything else out there so I can come in there a few more moments every day. See, please, yeah, go ahead.
To answer your question, I think Peter Tosh would probably be honored because he bound himself to this cause.
Goodness, thank you.
To be honored as part of any of the holidays that are related, I think.
This is my kind of devil's advocate argument, and that's that I'm just not seeing the correlation with 420. I think 420 can stand alone, and we go with his birthday. I think, I could Google it right now to find out when his birthday is. I can pick another day out of the year, to celebrate cannabis and to celebrate Peter Tosh, because quite frankly, it is cannabis legalization, and that's great. But it's also Peter Tosh, the man in his life, that could also be celebrated, and his music. Apart from justify, oh yeah, he puts ganja, that's great. He was a rebel for human rights, and it went far beyond just cannabis. So I would put that petition out there. But in fact, we should do a poll. Should 420, should we adopt 420 as Peter Tosh Day, or should we get another day for Peter Tosh Day? Or should it be Peter Tosh? I'm gonna put that poll up. I wonder if anyone's gonna be ready enough to vote on the last choice. But anyways, we'll see what happens. We get some Marley fans like, no, but it's all about Marley. We'll see what's up. There's always conflict somewhere, right? But
Bob Marley, God bless him, is the de facto.
I'm kidding. Absolutely.
But Peter Tosh probably did more for it with his music, so that's why they want to give it to him. So.
I'm in full support of the adulation, absolutely, and the commemoration and the accolades. It should be something. It's just because there is this conflict with 420 and the Macintoshes that are trying to make it into 420. It's like now some people are like yes, and some people are like yeah, but we're doing our thing, and then Peter Tosh kind of gets lost in it. Like no, let's give him his fair due. Let's give him his day, and we'll have that a day, a street, and whatever we'll do. We'll have a that's what's necessary. I think.
That's not a bad idea, because we need more of these holidays. Don't need to be combining them all together. Exactly. That's not a bad idea.
Okay, all right. Right. Yes. Yeah. Anyways, but yeah, thank you for bringing that back up, because I forgot. Forgive me about that one. It kind of left my brain there anyways. But this is cool. Look, it's the top of the hour. I think we can wrap it now. I just wanted people to kind of meet a few of our guests. We do have many more. We have about 60 something guests coming, and you will see all the names and images come up shortly. The only reason why you haven't seen all the images is because I don't want to go to Google and pull up people's images from 2, 3, 4 years ago when people changed during the pandemic. I have one guy, he's completely black haired in one, and the other one, it's like, dude, I gotta get like a recent photo. People are gonna kind of freak out. They're like, what happened? It's not the ganja, trust me. But anyways, it's not Jamaica. Jamaica did not do that to him. It's age. But anyways, so all the good stuff will be really, really soon. And we're gonna get hunky dory ready to go. And and well, thank you guys for joining me. Thank you for agreeing to be a part of the Ganjactors.com Caribbean Cannabis Summit and Exchange and Expo. And we'll see you guys at the end of June and July. In fact, you know what? I'm probably gonna commandeer another half hour of your days between now and then, and we could do a little short cannabis and coffee conversation, just to build up a little bit more hype as well. And so on and so
All right. Bless up, everybody.
Stacey, we definitely talk. I've spoken to everyone else. I've spoken to them before. We need to get you onto our media. All right.
No problem.
Okay.
Thank you all. Have a good one. Enjoy the rest of the day. Happy 120. One love to all.
Yes.
Thank you.
Bye.
And happy Peter Tosh Day for
now.
For now, right on. Okay. Bless. All right. Thank you everyone for joining me, joining us. Again, the summit is coming together really, really well. You will see more information on the summit coming up very, very shortly. You will have tickets available shortly. Between today and the end of this month, that will be April 30th. We're offering a 50% discount on our bundle package. So that's a decent amount of savings for you guys. All right, so please come check it out. Keep looking at the website, ganjaconference.com, as well as ganjactivist.com. We will have information, we'll have updates. We will have a giveaway as well that's coming up shortly. So follow our social. You can email us directly. It's info@ganjactivist.com. There's also info@ganjaconference.com. You can send emails to. You can request some information. We do have the prospectus available for people who want to sponsor. Booths are also available at two trade show locations. We have the Gorilla Escape as well as MX3. We have a good deal of space. MX3 is going to be kind of more B2C, and then the Gorilla Escape more B2B. So you could be selective, or you can take both, or you can, and just we're opening up the Western Negril to the ganja industry. Come, let's make this thing work. Let's bring this thing to higher heights. One love to all. Bless.